Having served in Congress for 5 years, what I learned from the inside is there are very powerful industries and their lobby, they're very powerful lobbyists, and the financial donations and structures that are built behind them is what entangles these politicians into supporting things that are unimaginable, things that Americans do not vote for.
So Tucker Carlson just sat down with Marjorie Taylor Greene for a bombshell interview about congressional corruption, and what she reveals is staggering. We're talking about specific votes, named Republicans betraying their voters, and the exact dollar amounts changing hands. This is insider knowledge you won't get anywhere else.
Just last week, right? 57 Republicans voted no on an amendment to stop the government from controlling your car. Like that, what we're talking about, the AI capability. This was something that Biden and the Democrats, they passed a law when I was serving in Congress. Of course, I voted no to it. And the law is to require every new car starting in 2027 to have technology in there to be able to basically scan you and determine if you're drunk, if you're capable, if you're healthy and fit and capable of driving your automobile. And the car will not start if AI determines that you're not. Now, 57 Republicans voted no on an amendment to stop that from happening.
This AI car mandate is real. It's called the RIDE Act, passed in Biden's infrastructure bill. The technology scans your eyes, monitors your breathing, even tracks head movements. 57 Republicans just voted to keep this Orwellian nightmare alive. That's not governing, that's enabling a surveillance state.
But I was really surprised to see a name on the list, a recently elected Republican, Brian Jack from Georgia, who campaigned as being a conservative. I know his district really well. It was just to the south of my old district. These people don't support that, but yet his name was on there. And the question is, how did he fall into that trap? And why in the world would he vote no on an amendment to stop the government from basically controlling your vehicle?
Brian Jack ran on Trump's endorsement and conservative principles, but he's already been captured by the swamp in under 2 years. His Georgia district voted 65% for Trump, yet Jack sides with Democrats on government car control. This is exactly how the uniparty recruits fresh faces to betray voters.
In Washington, D.C., a member of Congress can fully fill their campaign coffers with just a few fundraisers in Washington, D.C., where you have the industry giants there, say whether it's the military industrial complex, the base there, those companies, whether it's pharmaceutical companies, big tech companies, you name it, any industry that is trying to get this candidate to support the things that they desperately need to empower them, empower their companies, help their companies become richer and richer and richer and dominate in their industry. These executives will show up with their wives, and they'll have 10 to 20, maybe 30 of them there. And they're writing max checks on behalf of themselves, max checks on behalf of their wives. And they will be there supporting this Republican member of Congress that needs to get reelected. And they can make hundreds of thousands of dollars, up to $1 million like that on just a few of those fundraisers.
The math is brutal. Corporate PACs can max out at $5,000 per candidate. But when you bring 20 executives with their spouses, that's $200,000 in one evening. Meanwhile, average Americans donate $50. No wonder these politicians vote against their own constituents. They're literally bought and paid for.
Tucker, when I introduced an amendment to defund Israel just last year, it hasn't even been a year yet. Only 5 other members of Congress, 5 out of 435, only 5 voted with me to defund American taxpayer dollars going to Israel. So that's your count. If you want to know how many members of Congress on both sides of the aisle are completely beholden to funding Israel, no matter what they do, no matter how much genocide they commit, no matter how many Lebanon Christian villages they destroy, no matter which country they decide to bomb out of their madness and desire for destruction, there's only It was only 5.
6 out of 435. That's the real power of AIPAC. They spent over $100 million in 2024 primaries alone, defeating anyone who questioned unconditional aid to Israel. Meanwhile, Americans can't afford groceries, but we're sending $4 billion annually overseas. The numbers don't lie about who controls Congress.
To become president of the United States, there's deals that have to be made. Otherwise, you aren't allowed to have that power. And you can go president by president throughout time, and especially throughout our lifetimes. And you can look at every single president and look at their career and the decisions that they made. And you can very quickly see that they made their deal to support Israel at all times. Why does the United States of America do that for one foreign country? It makes absolutely no sense. We don't do that for any other foreign country. No other government on earth does. Every single United States president, the vast majority of members of Congress, completely pledge their allegiance. Governors, too. We have to include governors and state elected officials. They pledge their complete allegiance to the government of Israel and their purpose and their protection and whatever endeavor they decide to pursue, whether it's right or wrong, whether it helps America or even if it hurts America, they still pledge their full allegiance. They make that deal. And Tucker, I don't care what anybody thinks about me, but I believe that Trump had to make a deal like this in order to become president.
Every president since Eisenhower has increased aid to Israel. That's not coincidence, it's coordination. Trump appointed more pro-Israel hawks in his second term than his first, including Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth. The foreign policy establishment demands loyalty oaths, and apparently even Trump had to comply.
My last vote in Congress, literally my last vote on the House floor, December 17th, was my own bill. I had to fight with everybody to get that bill to the floor. I mean, I threatened, I withheld votes on funding. I fought them all, and it finally got there. And to my complete shock, 4 Republicans voted no. 4. And that was Brian Fitzpatrick, Mike Lawler, Mike Kennedy, and Gabe Evans. So Mike Lawler voted no to my bill because he wants your kids to be trans, basically. It's totally fine with him if your child goes to a school where a teacher indoctrinates them. It's totally fine with him if they get indoctrinated on the internet and they get brainwashed and confused and maybe live in California or some other blue state where they can go to a doctor and basically a teenage girl could end up getting a mastectomy. Mike Lawler is totally fine with that. He voted no. My bill simply made it a felony to do that to children. He voted no to that, and so did 3 other Republicans.
Mike Lawler represents New York's most conservative district, yet voted against protecting children from irreversible surgeries. He campaigned on family values, but enables the medical mutilation of minors. Meanwhile, Sweden and Finland have banned these procedures. Even Europe is more conservative than Lawler.
My bill passed that in the House because God moved 3 Democrats to vote for it. 4 Republicans voted against it, even though the entire Republican Party campaigned on stopping the trans agenda on children, and it was supported by 70% of Americans. When God knew those 4 Republicans were voting no, God moved 3 Democrats to vote for it, and my bill passed the House floor.
3 Democrats showed more backbone than 4 Republicans on protecting children. Henry Cuellar, Jared Golden, and Marie Perez crossed party lines, while Republicans like Lawler betrayed their own platform. When Democrats defend kids better than Republicans, the party has lost its moral compass completely.
I was told, reliably told by one of the most well-known pollsters in Washington, D.C., that Republicans are expecting to lose anywhere between 20 and 40 seats in the House. And I say rightfully so. They deserve it.
Republicans are staring at a 2026 wipeout because they've betrayed every campaign promise. They control the House but can't defund sanctuary cities, stop transgender surgeries on kids, or prevent AI car mandates. Voters didn't send them to Washington to become Democrats. They deserve to lose.
You know, there's a way to take back control, and it comes from forming a powerful alliance of Americans that will only support candidates that are small dollar campaigns, candidates that absolutely refuse to take any money from APAC, from the military industrial complex, big pharma, the big industries and the big donors, the big nasty donors, and the big nasty political consultants that continue the America Last policies that we all are living in and we hate. The American people can elect people that will represent them when those representatives are only funded by the people that vote for them. That's the only way to get there.
Small dollar campaigns are the only solution. Look at how corporate money corrupted even Trump endorsed candidates like Brian Jack within months. AOC proved you can win on $200 donations, and Thomas Massie has refused PAC money for decades. Voters need to primary every corporate funded Republican immediately.